Well, hello everybody. It is I, your boy, H-boy. Before you ask, no, this is not a green screen. I usually do it from that angle. However, now I'm doing it from this angle. So that's the reason why you can see the bookshelf. Like if I'm just gonna see how, it's hard to see, but usually I do it up against that wall. But today I'm doing it up against this wall. So, today I'm going to be doing another nostalgia spiel. And for today's nostalgia spiel, I'm going to be talking about things that were about fads and trends and stuff from when I was in elementary because, well, why not? So, let's start with, because the thing is, when I was in SK, I was in some kind of learning center of an actual school. I didn't start going into public school until I was in the first grade. So the fads will be from when I was in the first grade all the way up until I was in either high school and a bit of university, but whatever, let's get this video going. So let's start with when I was in grade 1, we loved these thingamaschnitzels called Go-Go Crazy Bones, even though most people just called them Go-Go's. Basically, what they were more or less these little collectible thingies. They look like characters you'd see on YTV, but they look a little like those nudes from Cartoon Network, like not Cartoon Network nudes. You remember how they were dressed like different Cartoon Network characters? Basically, they look like that. And if you see these, there's a whole bunch of random ones. However, if you go to the fandom page, because I never owned these, because I remember we talked about, I remember one kid went on a huge spiel about Go-Go books, because there was a book about Go-Go's. I got a Go-Go book of Go-Go events and some Go-Go's and stuff and blah, 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 blah. Either way, here, the few I remember, let me go to the list. I'm going to just zoom in on this list over here. And let's see, Marsh, don't remember. I don't remember any of these. The ones I remember are Cody. See this one, even though I called him Television Man. It was one about a skull-shaped thingy, which I remember, but I can't find here. I can find there was some triangle skull, dark purple, yellow triangle skull, which was one of the first ones I remember seeing. And as you can see, they were called Go-Go Crazy Bones, even though most of the time we just called them Go-Go's, or Go-Go Bones, or whatever. And the thing is, most teachers were okay with them, but I remember there was one of my teachers when I was young was like, if I see those Go-Go's, there'll be big trouble, or things like that. I don't know why she didn't like Go-Go's. I think it was like when we were seeing work or something. And then there was one we were doing some reading time, and I remember she was saying, if I hear you talking or whispering or saying anything about Go-Go's, we'll stop the activity, which was kind of petty, but it was still understandable. But either way, let's get back to it. So that was the Go-Go's from when I was in the first grade. Then when I was in the second grade, there was the more iconic one, and this one is a little called Silly Bands. You probably remember Silly Bands. Wait, before I go to the Silly Bands, there's one more thing about the Go-Go's I remember when I was in the first grade, we were doing this thing about fire safety, and I remember we were supposed to create a quiz questions, and I remember one of mine was what to do if you add, one that my dad and I came with, because we were doing it for homework, was what to do if you left your favorite toy in a burning building. However, I changed it to Go-Go collection, but we agreed on that, so whatever. Now, but anyway, back to the next one. The next one is Silly Bands. These ones are very iconic. Silly Bands, it's with a Z, but... So, Silly Bands. Essentially what they are, these gigantic elastic... They still sell them, huh? But these weird elastic band bracelet thingies. Like, for example, the Justin Bieber one I remember, Hollywood one I remember, I don't remember the Kardashian one or the Angry Birds one. And essentially they were these elastic bands shaped in a specific style, more or less. And we would wear them on the arm. And then there was a few glow-in-the-dark ones, which I really liked. And I remember, because, my teacher had a hatred for Go-Go's. This teacher, second grade teacher, didn't really have... Sorry about that. Didn't really have a hatred for Silly Bands. However, she didn't want us wearing them either during field trips or outings or during class. No. During field trips, during class time's okay, but not when it's like a group kind of thing. And I think that was it. And I remember one time she made a whole huge spiel about saying, don't wear Silly Bands tomorrow, like the day that she said it. And she wrote on the bored, sent it to everyone, blah, 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 blah. One kid forgot, so he just hid it in the bag. Luckily, no one ratted out to him, but that's a good thing. Anyway, what else? In addition to silly bands, there was also... This was around the time Hello Kitty was all the rage. You know Hello Kitty, you know, that Japanese feline that everyone used to love. You see that with no mouth and the big bow, and everyone thinks they made a deal with the devil and stuff. And I remember one little girl, she was obsessed with Hello Kitty. And so we were doing this country box project. So you want to know what happened? She did hers on Japan and made a whole spiel about Hello Kitty. Because, well, Hello Kitty is Japanese. And she also talked about the Japanese flag, which is, you know, the white with the red circle and stuff and blah, 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 blah. And I did mine. Like, I know this is not relevant to the video, but I'm just going to tell you. I did mine on Puerto Rico because I remember it was a story about because something along the lines of, I think I did it because my dad went there in the past. And I did one part because there was an episode of Scooby-Doo that took place in El Moro, and I put that in my thing. So it was kind of like the Hello Kitty one. However, the Hello Kitty one, she went on a huge spiel about it, and I even remember my one of the substitute teacher's nieces was obsessed with Hello Kitty as well, and I remember she went during the Hello Kitty thing. She's like, "Oh, my niece loves Hello Kitty. She has everything," and blah blah blah. I didn't really get into it. However, on the Sanrio website, there's this. See this thing? No, I don't want Tim to off my order. I want just, as you can see, no, I don't want, I just want, as you can see, it's some gigantic, adorable looking Hello Kitty birthday plushie. It looks incredibly expensive, but to be honest with you, I would want that. Maybe I might get that in the future. Anyway, I'll worry about that later. I just gotta plug in my device so it doesn't die on me. And then I will get back to a video. Okay. So that's enough about Hello Kitty. Because Hello Kitty was all the rage. And as I said, the teacher didn't seem too bothered that she made a whole spiel about Hello Kitty, even though Hello Kitty was Japanese and stuff. But that was the spiel about the second grade. Now, I got into the Silly Bands one. I didn't really get into the Go-Go one. But the Hello Kitty one I got kind of into. Like, for example, there was this series called Growing Up with Hello Kitty, which I really liked. In fact, I once got a DVD from them from the library. But that's not important. I'll get into that later. The next one, although this one wasn't as strong, it was the iconic Beyblade, let her rip. You probably remember the Beyblades. So what were Beyblades, you may ask? They were these weird Asian spinning top thingamadoodles where you would roll around in a bin and you would try to bump into them, and like if you hear there's Takura's merger with Tommy and Takura Tommy and blah 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 blah. Tommy's Japanese, yeah, everyone knows it's Japanese. But what's the point of them? Oh, they have rules. One point around is if the opponent's Beyblade stops spilling, a survivor. Because we never really did rules. I was one of the guys, like whenever I played with a Beyblade, more or less I would simply just, what I would do was pretty much, I would just put it in my hands, go just let her rip and just watch it roll, because I really competed. Even though I had a friend's house, he had a bunch of Beyblades and we would compete sometimes. It was pretty fun. The problem was he had one of those Beyblades that ripped apart, you know, those Smash Beyblades, and he got one of those dome-shaped, I don't know what they're called, but you know, dome-shaped stages. The thing is, the thing with the dome-shaped stages is, those Smash Beyblades or Slam Beyblades or whatever they're called. Let me look at, oh, shit's gonna fall off. I don't know if they were called, like, let me look it up quickly. Let me go here, and, what was they called? Smash Beyblade. Here we go, Smash Attack Beyblade. It doesn't show it, but you get my point. Anyway, that's that. That's enough about Beyblades. Oh, and one time at Toys R Us, before, of course, Toys R Us got destroyed, back when I was still a Toys R Us kid, they had Beyblade competitions, which was really cool. Like, when Beyblades was in full swing, they had Beyblade competitions. And they were just small little competitions where you could go, maybe bring a friend, spin some Beyblades. You can bring your own Beyblades, or they would provide Beyblades or whatever, but essentially that's how that would go. So that's what I have to say about that. Now I think that's all I have to say about Beyblades, because now I'm on the third grade. Now the fourth grade, It was a slightly different one, not as exciting, but the gigantic Jawbreaker lollipops. Now these was the first candy phase, because all the other phases were just toys. This was the only one that was a phase, and the Hello Kitty one was the only one that was a TV show. And essentially what these were basically a Jawbreaker on a stick, and you just lick it until it breaks in the middle. And you just lick it. Now the thing about these is if you look too close to the bottom, they will, like for example, I got one where the problem is I would lick too close to the bottom, and then the stick would get soggy, then it would rip, and then now I have a stickless Jawbreaker lollipop, which was kind of disappointing. But nevertheless, it was still enjoyable. So I must say that. And what else? And the thing is, this one wasn't the biggest phase. I only saw 4 people with these, but close enough. It didn't really have any toy fads that year. There might have been, but not enough not to my remember. Because remember, I was in the 4th grade, so that was like a couple of years back. I'm not going to give any specific years back because, well, that's none of your concern. But I will keep going my chit-chat about what I have to say about this, because chit-chatting is what I do. Anyway, I'd just like to let you know that you see how there's stuff back there because someone else in here. So if someone walks in, I might have to go quiet. But if that happens, don't be bothered because, well, it's an H-Boy video. What do I have to say? So now that was the lollipops, the next one was Pokemon cards. Now this one was probably the most popular one because nearly everybody had Oh crap! Oh shit! I dropped my shades. Oh, no one saw that. Okay, good, because it was on the screen. But anyway, what Pokemon cards were basically cards with Pokemon on them, like fire, electric, poison, fighting, and it would say their powers, and it would say like what they had, and you could like bring a cardboard and we get on them, and nearly everyone. Now most of the fads that I was talking about earlier was simply done within a class. Maybe other classes would get involved. However, but I wouldn't see it this much. Now this one, almost the entire school had. Literally, almost like if you walked past someone at recess, they would probably have a Pokemon card. Boys would have Pokemon cards, girls would have Pokemon cards, whatever. And now, as I said earlier, with like the Go-Go's and the silly bands, the teachers would crack down on. This is the only one so far that the entire school cracked down on. Eventually, they said stop bringing Pokemon cards because they were getting stolen or lost or something. I don't remember what it specifically was, but there was something where the principal said stop bringing Pokemon cards, which was kind of sad. But I only had 2 Pokemon cards. But I kept them in my desk until that fateful call. So, I think that's all I have to say about Pokemon cards. Now, let's see. What happened after Pokemon cards? After Pokemon cards, there were Shopkins. And Shopkins, well, you know what Shopkins are. Essentially, they're these weird, cute, toy, food, shoppy-looking things. And essentially what they are... Oh, they renamed them Real Littles. Huh, did not know that. And they're collectible toys based on grocery store items with a recognizable face and a unique name, and then there was those. And then there was a sequel to Shopkins. Well, I don't know if they were related, but they were called Nom Noms, which I liked. However, now the thing is, Shopkins, I know, seems very girly, but I remember a few boys in the class going with Shopkins. But Shopkins are... what the heck? Shopkins were pretty good, but I don't remember them ever being called Real Littles. Let me see. Real Littles. I don't remember them ever being called Real Littles. And oh my... Okay, Real Littles were like Shopkins, but with real products. You see, like real... Little Pringles, little Ready Rip, little whatever that is, you see? But to be honest with you, I personally like Shopkins better Did you like Shopkins better? Yeah, so even she liked Shopkins better. Anyway, so what else? After the Shopkins, there was fidget spinners. Now, fidget spinners was an interesting one. Most of them were in the school only, but fidget spinners were everywhere. Like, you probably remember the fidget spinner trend from back in 2007. They were, like, all over the place. Like, you can even see they have a little fidget spinner activity on Google. Don't know why they have it. But wait, it says here that fidget spinners got banned. I wonder why they got banned. Try spinning the toy. It can fly to another student's or teacher's face, kind of get hurt. Okay, for safety's sake, I still have a fidget spinner. I still use it from time to time. And let's see, similar devices have been invented as early as 1993, but they were trending in 2017. I bet the creator wished to patent it. And then there was also the fidget cube, or the jitterbox, which I owned as well. I owned both of them. I like the spinner better, to be honest with you. But they were pretty... Uh-oh. They were pretty fun. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's forget about that. And let's see. The next two weren't specific toys, but they were still something. There was bottle flipping, which was more of a thing we did than an actual trend. So what was bottle flipping? It was something that was popular in 2016 or 17. Well, essentially, you throw a plastic bottle filled with liquid and try to make it land upright. Like, I remember first seeing it on an episode of Breakfast Television, which was a Canadian news show that aired on, it was called City TV. And I think it was, what was his name? Not Kevin Frankish, what was his name? Let's see if I can find the video of where she did the bottle flipping. I think it was this one. Let me see if I can show you. Breakfast at Television. Let's show yous.
To the business owners who
Okay, it's the Yankee Stadium. It's not that one. You know what? I'm not going to bother. So, the thing about bottle flipping is I remember the principal also got on our case about this, similar to the Pokemon cards. However, I don't remember the specific reason. It might have been because it says it was banned in a high school for safety fears. Maybe they were worried something was going to happen. Let's see. Why was it banned? Let's see. Many teachers have expressed frustration because it should only be in private. Like, it's dumb. It was kind of dumb, let's say. But this one they also banned. So wanna know what we did? We rebelled, I tell ya. So wanna know how we rebelled? We did a little thingy called sauce flipping. Where essentially we took a bucket of applesauce, and then what we did is we would basically put our finger on the edge of the applesauce. Like, I mean, like, you know those pieces, like those little plastic applesauce jars, like the snack packs, like, you know, like these. You see those? Those. And what would we do with those? I'll tell you what we would do with those. We would basically put our finger on the little silver ridge, flip it, and see how many times. But one time I accidentally got applesauce all over a kid doing that, but luckily they never cracked down on that, even though we rebelled, ironically. So either way, that was all the trends I could think of. There might have been more, and there was a few gaming trends, like in grade 1, it was when I was in the first grade, there was mini clip. You know, mini clip with like Fireboy and Water Girl and 8-Ball Pool and all those. Then there was a board button, which was basically a button. Basically, let me show you. Mini clip is pretty much dead now, so I'm not going to show you mini clip. But board button was basically a site that would take you to a website where when you were bored. Like, I'm not going to, because I don't want you knowing my birthday, I'm going to skip that one. How long can you push the button? I'm not going to bother this, but I did it for 3 minutes, but I can always do better. The highest score is 58 minutes. Which would be that's over 2 days. Oh, is that 58? No, that's a little less than an hour. That's over. That's at 58 hours. I'm sorry, I meant 58 minutes. And then I think that's all I have to say about board button. And then after that, there was, mini clip again. And then there was, Kid Pics. Let me show you Kid Pics with the undo guy. Let me show you a clip of Castle Cadet Gaming. Let me show you a video of Kid Pics. You recognize when you'll see it. That's an ad for Grammarly. That is not Kid Pics. Please ignore that. I don't want... has nothing to do with this. Here we go. Kid Pics. The Learning Company.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Kid Pics. Kid Pics. Come on and play with Kid Pics. Wow. Paint it up. Draw it up. Move it up. There it is. Move around with sound. Okay, you don't need to see the whole thing. Either way, skip this, skip. So as you can see, basically it's like a simple drawing app. Backgrounds and stuff, and you get my point. I don't need to show you the whole thing. It's fun to play with, let me tell you. And that was when we played. And there was also a Plumo at the Zoo, which is when we played. It wasn't as good. And then there was the House series, consisting Bailey's Book House, which was essentially you can read. Okay, yeah. Essentially, what you could do is there was rhymes, preposition words, writing a letter, something about
Here
a
come
carnival,
Elmo and Houdini.
and then there was, for example, it would see how it says go like
In
the doghouse,
Houdini.
and then under, over, through,
I
blah
am
blah
the
blah
doghouse.
blah. If you clicked on the bug, see the little bug in the corner? What would happen was you would be able to. It would basically say like send them in, out, or whatever, and then you would have to click it, or else nothing would happen. Yeah, but my favorite out of the house was Sammy's Science House. 'Cause this one, and especially the movie making. Let's go to the movie making, because the movie making one was my favorite. The movie making one. This one after this one. Okay, here we go. This one was my favorite. Essentially,
Look out, Hollywood.
basically what would happen is you would have to put your things together.
Look out, Hollywood.
And then click the
Here we
click the
come.
bunny. The bunny would pull the lever.
Lights, camera,
And then you would show it to all
action.
these animal creatures. And I remember, and if you click them, they would eat popcorn, as you can see. What I used to do is just click one. Like I used to, for example, let's say click the elephant or the alligator and be like, the elephant is greedy, the elephant is greedy, because the elephant's eating everything.
Light.
And then play them in backwards was fun. You see how he melts, so and now look, he gets iced again, which is pretty awesome. And they laugh. That it was reversed for some reason. So that's pretty much that. Usually goes in and out, or you can pull it backwards. Like, see how the train's going backwards now? So forwards or backwards. I used to play it in forward and reverse just for the hell of it. It was fun. It was fun. And then after that, there was Millie's Math House, which was the last one and my least favorite. Essentially, it was like math.
Hi, Millie.
For example, there's cookie making, what's my number, mouse house with shapes and shoes,
There are
and
little, middle, and big.
don't remember much about it. So that's what I have to say about that one. Now, let's see. Other game trends. There was one where we liked playing. It was another math game that I remember playing in the 5th or 6th grade called Drop Sum. Let's see if I can find. Here we go. Drop Sum. It was another math game. It was an
Hey
educational
guys, this
math
is
game.
Twin Gaming, also known as Twin Analysis. I'm here playing.
Yeah. So essentially, you had to do it so they add to 10, and then they smash like that, and you get coins. And 7, as you can see, it's more fun in a school. It's kind of boring when you play it alone. And then, after that, there was, of course, Five Nights at Freddy's. Everyone remembers Five Nights at Freddy's. You know, with Scott Cawthon, that Texan dude. And that one was so self-explanatory, I won't even need to show it to you. And then, the last one, well, then there was Fortnite. You remember Fortnite. Everyone remembers Fortnite. That's a Fortnite Battle Royale. That's another one I don't need to show you because it's self-explanatory. So the last one that I'm going to show you will be one called... What am I going to show you? I am going to show you one called Shell Shockers. Now this one was essentially Fortnite, but with eggs. That's pretty much all it was. Take a look. That's another ad. See? And we played that a lot. We used to create private rooms and play them in the computer lab, which is pretty awesome. We had a good time. So that was our gaming trends, gaming fads, and real fads, and all those kinds of fads I had to talk about. So that was your boy, H-Boy, with another nostalgia spiel about old things that were fads when I was a young one. I really hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if I should talk about anything else, and I will see you next time.